Central New York, and hello, hockey
No.
fans all across the internet, and welcome to 315 Hockey Live, brought to you by 315hockey.com and powered by My Little Falls. I'm your host, Scott Kinville, and this Central New York hockey season is starting to come down to the home stretch here, but boy, what a season we've had so far. And we've got an awesome guest on tonight to talk to us about some college hockey. He is the head coach of the number 12 Utica Women's Pioneers hockey team, the one, the only head coach, Dave Clausen. How you doing, Dave?
I'm awesome. It's good to be here, guys.
Excellent. And we appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk some Pioneers hockey with us. So, Coach, your team is unbeaten in 18 straight. You're, like I said, you're number 12 in the latest USCHO poll. You've got the third-ranked offense, the third-ranked defense in the country. You're 13th on the power play, 9th on the PK, and you've got the third most shorthanded goals in the country. You got to be feeling pretty good about your team right now.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. I didn't even know any of that.
What's funny?
Wow.
Really? We are?
That's awesome. Like, I can go to bed early and relax, right? We have a group. We have a bunch of seniors. We have a really large junior class. We have a handful of underclassmen, but they really do contribute at a pretty high level, and just a mature, fun. Like, it's neat. Like, I mean, you go to the rink every day. It's going to be fun. The kids bring the energy. Like, they bring me up. So I have fun. Like, we enjoy playing offense. We enjoy having the puck. We're pretty good at defense. We don't do it that much. But yeah, it's a fun group, and we were pretty good last year, and I think we're going to be pretty good again next year, because with COVID and kids having the extra year, we really only lose one player at the end of this year. So it's kind of a neat run for us right now, a neat window. And listen, I'm enjoying it. It's still one game at a time in hockey, but yeah, like we've been kicking some butt, right?
You certainly have. And just so the viewers know, who's that one player you're going to be losing?
Georgiana Santulo, which is a big one. Certainly for us. Last year she set our single season scoring record, and in this past weekend she actually set the school record for career games played. And certainly first line center is a big piece, but everybody turns a little bit over every year. And we've been really fortunate to have her impact on our program's been tremendous. And certainly you never want to have to replace a player like that. Obviously at the college level, that's something we have to do. But it is nice that a lot of the other pieces that we have in place are coming back, and we certainly have some players, I think, in the wings that will hopefully step into her shoes. And then hopefully with recruiting, we're able to bring in another crop that'll make us even better, right? So yeah, we will certainly miss her, but it's really nice to know that we have some other pretty elite players coming back. Our goalie is coming back, and that our decor is coming back. We got a question here.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Well, the screen froze up for a second. So
it didn't freeze up.
Barry does have a question, but first, before we get to his question, I do want to ask you real quick. I mean, you were just talking about Georgiana Santulo. She's on that big top line you got with Erica Sloan and Carly Stefanini, but your team is loaded with depth from top to bottom. I mean, forwards and defense. So if you would tell us a little bit about that depth, because I've in all the Pioneers games I've seen so far, it does not look like you're afraid to roll four lines, my friend.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's our MO for sure. It's a 4-line team, I think. And it makes us really hard to play against for 60 minutes. Certainly there's a lot of teams that can maybe match up. Like we just played down in Philly this weekend, and Newman had a great top line, which certainly matched up very well with ours. They had a lot of speed and some size and whatnot, but we just wore them out. And those guys can't play 60 minutes. And we have 4 lines that can just go out and play. I mean, our top line, which you mentioned, is certainly great from a scoring standpoint. They've had a fantastic year. And quietly year in and year out, we have our second line for the last few years has been Carolyn Whitney entering that group, and Maggie Rylott, and And right now, Abby Lillis this year, that line is faster than our top line, probably equally puck skilled. You know, certainly maybe doesn't have quite the size, the physicality, and the the shot velocity is some of the, but that line is very, very good. And in all honesty, that group has had more success on our power play this year than that top group, which is great, right? To know that you have a second
Absolutely.
that's coming there. Our third line, which has been Haley Maudlin, who's from Arizona, getting ahead on the question here. And then we've got Courtney Staniszewski on that line, and Erica Schaefer, who's a New Hartford kid. That line's, size. They can all shoot the puck. They score at a pretty high, pretty alarming rate, and then they haven't done quite the same scoring as those top three lines. Our fourth line right now, but when they go on the ice, they're out there. It's Molly Padone, and then two freshmen, Casey Ryder and Kelsey Elliott. And by far, those three are the fastest three forwards that we have. And so when they're on the ice, we have the puck, and you can kind of see other teams, and I've talked to other coaches after they played us, and they're talking about matchups. They're like, well, we weren't worried about your fourth line. First shift, we saw them out there, and then we're like, whoa, there's no way we can put our fourth line out there against them. We can't keep up. So all of a sudden, now we're getting mismatches. So yeah, just our depth up front's great. And then, when your top line knows they only are going to play 18 minutes, not like 26, 28, you just get
Right.
more every time they're going. They don't have to save something for later on. We played Manhattanville a couple weeks ago, and I think they have the best player in our league, and certainly maybe one of the best in all of Division III, and Gabby Cox. And we held her to a point over 2 games because we were able to make sure we matched up on her. And then when she wasn't out there, we were winning those matchups. And then, she's playing 30 minutes a game, and you get to the middle of the second period, and her legs run out defensively, and all of a sudden we're just more and more waves of players. So our depth has been great for us. As kids have to work hard. Obviously, we need everybody to show up every day. And then we have some kids that have been in and out of the lineup for us, who've played huge roles for us. It's been great, and certainly the goaltending on the back end, and then our decor has been chipping in. So we got a bunch of players that I love, right? Like, I don't sit there and be like, geez, this line's got to get, like, we really love our lineup right now.
Oh, I can't say as I blame you one bit, because there's just no doubt about it. And you mentioned waves, and that's the one thing that's noticeable in watching Pioneer hockey. It's just constant pressure and constant waves. So, Dave, if you want to put that question Barry had, because I kind of got sidetracked there. So, he was asking about recruiting, and he wants to know, where do you recruit for the team? Are most of the ladies from the Northeast?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the logistics of recruiting for us, and we're not flying all over the place. We're not an SEC school, right, with a $1 million a week recruiting budget for our sport. So we're seeing kids in the area, and that's kind of where it starts. But we are all over the place, right? We just had a kid commit for next year from Western Canada. We've got 2 kids on our team right now from Ontario. We've got a third kid who's just transferred into Utica here for the spring, going to play next year, who's a Canadian kid who played for the Pacific Steelers out west, and is going to be another good add. So we have got some kids from out there. We got a large contingent, probably the biggest core of kids on our team this year. They're from the Buffalo area. I think if you're ever on our social media, you'll see pictures of kids in Bills jerseys, which was a tough weekend for them, not too long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a good crew, and I'm glad that the Eagles don't play them this week, because it might make, or in 2 weeks, that's a little awkward. But we have kids from we have a couple prep school kids from New England. We got a couple kids from Florida who grew up playing hockey in Florida, but then went to prep schools. One went to a prep school out in Minnesota. One went to Northwood, which is up in Lake Placid, New York. I'm trying to think. We've got Haley, who I mentioned, who's an Arizona kid who actually played out in Arizona for some mains, who played her hockey at Utica a long, long time ago. And then, so we had kind of a heads up on her growing up. And then she ended up playing some junior hockey in Massachusetts at the end of her high school time. And we grabbed her. We were pretty fortunate there. Super kid and captain. But I mean, you name it. We got a goalie from Maryland. I mean, we've had kids from, you name a state. I bet you we've had a kid over the years. So
that's
Gary's right. They do have some great players out in Saskatchewan. Hasn't been a big target for us. Certainly, small private college like Utica. Financially, it's a part of the process for a lot of kids, and we don't have federal aid money for international kids, so we haven't done as well in Canada as I'm sure we would hope to, and some of our competitors who have a little more money out there. But but yeah, he's right. There's definitely some good hockey all over Ontario. I mean, probably the best junior league is in Ontario, the Provincial Women's Hockey League, and they have teams from the Toronto area up through the Montreal area. It's a great league, and you look at schools like Syracuse and RIT and Mercyhurst and whatnot at the Division I level are certainly rosters. Clarkson, St. Lawrence loaded up with kids from that league. We just hasn't been our top target just because one, it's heavily recruited, and two, obviously, at the end of the day, money matters sometimes in recruiting.
Oh, sure it does. I mean, it's still impressive for Utica to be able to pull in players from out west. I mean, that's because I mean, you mentioned that obviously the recruiting budget isn't there. It's it's a smaller school, of course, it's not going to be. But how do you pull in players from the west? I mean, do you watch the video and email communications, or is it?
Yeah, a bit. I mean, what's crazy, and I have a daughter who's 16 right now and playing. And these kids, they travel all over the place for hockey. So, so we're fortunate. Like, I can drive down to Boston, which I did a few weeks ago, and you're in Boston, and I saw a team from Chicago, saw a team from Western Canada while I was there. My daughter's team was there from Rome, New York, which is a mixed mash of kids from a little bit from all over. You had a team from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and then but you get teams from all over, right? End up traveling to the Northeast because there's such a compact group of colleges here, right? So kids want exposure. They're going where college coaches are a little bit now, as opposed to years ago, right? We had to go everywhere and find kids. So we're lucky. I mean, as well, right now, what's helping us is our success the last few years. Word of mouth is traveling on our program, and then the Nexus facility, like, we just had 2 prep schools reach out, not too long ago, and hey, we heard your facility is amazing. Can we come and play a game there? So there was a game on Sunday. 2 prep schools, one from Ontario and one from Vermont. They just met here in Utica and played, which is great for us, right? Great exposure. But yeah, like there's a lot of things that are factoring in right now that are certainly helpful for us. Nexus is one. And obviously the success that we're having, the rankings, kids that are good players, they want to go and play for good programs. So that's helping.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And just speaking of the West, I'm going to come right out and say it. Angela Hawthorne, who was an excellent goaltender coming into this season, has taken her game to the next level. And of course, she's from California. So tell us a little bit about what Angela has meant to this team.
Oh, she's superstar, for sure. And like, I mean, if you've met her off the ice, which I don't know if you have,
I have.
you
Great
would,
person.
yeah. I mean, but you look at her and you would never think, oh, goalie, right? I listen. So I think we say she's 5 feet tall, but we're stretching the truth a little bit there. But just a workaholic, for sure. I mean, nobody puts more time into it. Nobody is more focused than she is. And she brings it all the time. Yeah, we think the world of her. Certainly, it's nice to have something like that back there where We play a very aggressive offensive style. Certainly, we have 4 players going offensively a lot of the time, and 1 defenseman maybe back there. Maybe sometimes both defensemen are going, and you got a forward back covering for them. And so we are trying to play unafraid of making mistakes as an offensive team with the crew we have and the talent that we have. And having someone back there when we make a mistake will bail us out has been big. And make no bones about it, we have a win and a tie this semester where we really didn't play that well. I mean, 2 games where we really showed up, and yeah, dog excrement for sure would be the best thing to describe.
Dog, he knows because he's got that dog in the back, right?
Yeah, and last time I was on, he settled down tonight. But he
I don't think that would work, Barry.
We leaned on it, right? I mean, we played at Worcester State, and we won in overtime. But I mean, there was a couple of breakaways through that game where we just had our heads in our back ends, and she bailed us out. And then, last Tuesday night we played panic hockey. Team came out and really came after us and threw us out of our game. And it really took us 40 minutes to settle back in. And it wasn't until the third period started where we started to move the puck and play our game and attack and create some offense. We took some penalties along the way, and let's be honest, right? If she doesn't have a career night, we're no longer on an unbeaten streak. So yeah, I think everybody's hats are off to her. She's been a workhorse. We actually were able to give her a game off this past weekend, and Maddie Esposito's Maryland kid jumped right in, and I think she made 18, 19 saves and a shutout. So, we got some depth there too, which is great. Certainly that doesn't take anything from Angela. She's a proven quantity, but I think we got a good defensive team as well. And you put those 2 things together, and I told you I wasn't a big stats guy, but I think you said we're 3rd in the country in defense.
Gordon, I was looking at the goals against per game, and you guys are 3rd. So that's huge testament.
That's a lot hurt because we're not real defensive focused. So,
I tell you, when I met her, it was at a Comets game. She was working the save of the day kiosk there.
I thought you were bartending or something.
No. She was doing the save of the day there, and we got talking. And I told her, I says, watching your goaltending style, she reminds me so much of Henrik Lundqvist, because she's not the biggest goalie in the world, but she plays her angles so well, and that's what Lundqvist did his entire career. So,
I mean, she's fantastic, and she's on her feet a lot, right? And she's all over the place. She's not one of those big modern butterfly style flop. She skates, and she can skate with kids, and she's different. She catches with her right hand instead of her left hand, which is a little different. So it's like having an ace pitcher in Major League Baseball who throws 99, but it's also from the left side. Just throw shooters off a little bit. Places where kids are used to being able to score, they can't. It just takes up a lot of, even though she's small, because she's standing a lot, she takes up a lot of the net. So and then she competes, right? She makes some saves. She made one against Hamilton, behind her back with her foot, she caught it. You're just nobody makes that. It's a goal. That's
right.
Now we're not. We stunk. One kid made a great play for us and saved the day. So she's fantastic, right? I don't really have much else to say.
Yeah, I mean that pretty much sums it up right there too. So but let's talk about that Hamilton game for a minute, because they're up to number 5 in the country now. I would say probably right along with Elmira, your toughest test of the season, thus to date. But I mean, for like you mentioned, for the first 40 minutes, I mean, they pretty much played Utica Pioneer style hockey where, they were putting on a lot of offensive pressure. Was there any lessons that you guys took away from that game that you can apply for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think one of the things with us is we certainly play a puck possession style and a move the puck style. And we had been coming off a streak where we had played some decent teams, not great teams, and a lot of teams that were really just afraid of us, right? We would show up on the rink, and other teams where they would get, big eyes, and we would make a couple passes early, and all of a sudden they're chasing the puck all night long, and we're throwing it around. And we're really like, we have some speed, but we're not, like a blow you away with our speed team offensively. It's just we control the puck and our kids pass. They use each other, and we play a team game. Um, and Hamilton came in, and they were not all afraid of our puck possession game, and they came after us. And they did a great job of pressuring and playing from the right side. And so our players had a little bit less time with the puck. And we panicked early, and we started throwing some pucks away, and then we were forced to play some defense, which really isn't our game. And then we're chipping pucks and we're giving them back. And so they took us right out of our game early, which was great. And it was tough, right? We needed to wait until there was breaks in the game to make adjustments between periods, which we were able to do. And we were a little bit better defensively in the second period than we were in the first. And then, in the third, we were able to find our offense again, what they were doing to us. So, which was great. And we were able to, like, hey, you're down 2 against the top 5 team in the country going to the third period. Find a way to get back in that game, get a tie, and get out of there. That was a tremendous, credit to the group. Angela was great for 2 periods to keep us in it, and certainly in the third as well. But the kids figured out how to generate offense when it was 5-on-5 in the third. And Hamilton made a mistake, gave us a power play, we capitalized. And in all honesty, I think we were, we had an empty net with like 30 seconds to go on the power play, and we shot wide. Right. So we had our chances to win it as well. We had a couple really good chances in overtime. It's just, hey, it was a good, fast team, and certainly Angela kept us in it. But yeah, I mean, I think it was a good game, and certainly, I think we had another crack at them. I feel like we would certainly perform a little bit better.
Yeah, it was a tremendous game, and I was curious after the overtime period. There was no shootout. I almost texted you. I almost asked him, like, wait, what's going on?
I was too, and you know what? It's one of those ones. Shame on me. Shame on. I thought there should be a shootout, but I wasn't super confident in it. With something with non-conference games, you don't get to.
Right.
It's never been in the past. The past rule has always been, in a non-conference game, there's no shootout because it doesn't really mean anything on
Right.
national standings. This year, the rule is you're supposed to do a shootout. And I thought that was the case, but, I don't want to get in trouble for blaming or pointing fingers. But, and whatever. And it happened.
It
right?
was what it was.
The officials thought that they thought it was over. And I was like, I think there's a shootout. And they were like, no. Non-conference game, no shootout. That's only for your conference game. So I'm like, oh, all right. And then obviously 5-10 minutes after the game was over, my phone was ringing, and people were like, hey, you were supposed to do a shootout. I'm like, I thought so. But we weren't going to drag everybody back out there to do a shootout that didn't really mean
Right.
from a national standings point. It's still going to go down as a tie. But yeah, I mean, and Josh was saying I think both teams were whipped. We were whipped, but I'll take Angela Hawthorne in a shootout any day of the week. I don't care how tired people are.
Absolutely. There was a couple other questions too, and I wasn't ignoring them. I was in the middle of the thing here. So, by the way, Coach, you have a fellow Eagles fan. I see that, Jordy Fighter.
Eagles fan, I like it.
Yeah. But let's see, Josh. Made our first game against Hamilton. Loved the atmosphere at the Nexus for the girls. On a side note, several missed penalties on Hamilton. Seemed a little bit one-sided. Hawthorne kept them in that game. But it was just a great game all along.
We're going to give to the officials tonight on this show. Shame on them. No, listen, those are really good. The officials we had for the game they're really good. They're NCAA tournament caliber guys who have done championship and Final Four games before at the collegiate level. Those guys were really good officials. They certainly let us play a little bit more than we would have liked. Our team with a little more skill. We like, power plays for both teams. But it was what it was. Certainly we took some bad penalties to survive at times and gave them some power plays. There was a couple calls. Yeah, obviously we didn't like, and I've been doing this 23 years. There's not too many games where there aren't a few calls I don't like. But yeah, we survived and we got out of there.
All right. So, Michael Padone.
This question, I get this every day.
I was going to say, you might as well just hold up a sign, right?
A good one. So, Michael's got a daughter that can really play.
Yeah, That's for sure. But
for us is a first goal on penalty kill and our top power play unit right now. So, and it's the Florida kid. So he's tuning in, I think, from Florida, which is awesome. The D1 rumors. I wish I had an answer. I know that. Listen, like with the odd for years. I mean, 20 years of playing out of the odd. It's always been a conversation piece. This is a facility that would be great for Division One hockey. These crowds are Division One hockey crowds. Are we going to go that route? I know what I do know is that the school has been exploring, and is I continuing to explore any opportunities out there, right, that will enhance the school, whether it's in academics, athletics, etc. So I know that we've been going through and looking at things within athletics, and it would be an elevation, I think, of the entire athletic department to the Division II level, and then within that, there is no Division II in hockey, right? So if we were to elevate Division II for the entire athletic department, the Division I hockey for our teams would make a ton of sense, and that would be where our hockey programs go. I know it was leaked last year a little bit when Atlantic Hockey was playing their championships at the Final Four, that we had applied to Atlantic Hockey for our men's hockey program, and CHA with the women's hockey programs, and certainly I know that I speak for myself, I guess, on this one. I'm going to assume I can speak for Gary as well, but I think we would certainly welcome that challenge and be excited. The facility, the odd, and with Nexus and the university that Utica is, and the atmosphere and the climate, it would be amazing. I think, and with the groups that we have, the transition would be good. I think both teams have players that would do well at that level, and so I think it'd be fun. I'm not the decision maker. I don't get to make those decisions. I'm sure a lot's involved in it with being an entire athletic department thing. So what I can say is I know that that's something that the school's exploring and looking at, but I think right now we're Division III. I know that we are Division III for the rest of this year, and what happens in the future happens in the future, right?
Absolutely. So your remaining schedule, you got 2 games at home this weekend, Friday and Saturday against Lebanon Valley. Then you're at Wilkes, and then you close out the regular season anyway at number 14 Nazareth. And I know this Saturday after the game, you got something going on at the Nexus Center as well.
What do I have going on this Saturday?
You got there's a gathering at the Utica Club Lounge.
Oh, there is. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, this time it's official.
Yeah.
Normally we gather at the Utica Club Lounge.
Right.
Not always official as this one, but yeah, that'll be a lot of
Yeah, so everybody gonna enjoy some Utica clubs there in the lounge. So.
Yeah. It'll be good. It'll be good. A lot of parents in town. It's our, we call it our senior day on Saturday, which is the last regular season home, and we honor all our seniors. This year, we're honoring a bunch of seniors that are going to be back next year for their post-grad years, which I'm excited about, because usually we don't honor them. It's a very teary-eyed, this is it. See ya. It's been fun, but in this case, we got a lot of them back. So, but it's always a big day. It's always fun, and certainly like it's a home stretch of 6 games here with league implications. We put ourselves in a great spot, sitting at the top of the UCHC right now, and I think it's. I'm not a stat guy, but I know we win 5 out of 6 at this point. We win the league, and if we win the right 4 out of 6, I guess we'd have to win both against Naz. We could still
win. Yeah.
So our plan is to win them all, and I think that will take care of things. But
cover all the bases.
But being in February, being in that situation, being able to look at the league standings, and you don't have to go far down to get to your team, that's always nice.
Yeah, that's well, yeah, and there's Tim's got who is coming back next season. I think other than losing Georgiana,
yeah, they're all back except for Georgie.
Yeah, so
and Tim's back. He's he's a staple at the Odd and Nexus. Always ushering people around. telling
Awesome.
me what's up, keeping me. And his kid, he's got a son who's fantastic goalie. Fantastic.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. Well, Coach, like I said, we've been having such a great time here. I'm going to close it out by kind of leaning away from the Pioneers and going over to the high school level of things, because you have a daughter that plays for the Clinton Varsity Girls Hockey Team. She's a goaltender. So tell us a little bit about how easy it is to go from being the hockey coach to the hockey dad.
Okay, so we're going to be really clear. Being a hockey coach isn't the easiest gig in the world, but it is a lot easier than being a hockey dad. And I've got, I have boys that have played, and being a hockey dad is significantly easier than being a goalie's father.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So, I'm not gonna lie, like I have a hard time watching the games, right? Like I get so nervous and I'm just, like at the end of the day, I'm like, it's a high school hockey game. Why am I nervous? Like, what's going on here? What's wrong? But you know what? You love your kid. You want your kid to be successful. A goaltending position is stressful, right? Like, because it's never,
Yeah.
you make one mistake, everybody's like, oh, you fuck, you blew it.
Right. Right.
A forward misses a shot. Oh, we'll get another one in the next shift. And listen, like she's really good. All the credit in the world to her athletic ability from her mother. You know what? She does great. I'm proud of her. There's no question about that. We're all proud of our kids. But certainly, I love her to death. I enjoy watching her. The stress is tough. And then it's a great team that they have there. I mean, they the section tournament I think starts later this week. I know they're the number 1 seed in the section.
That's awesome.
And then if they can get through sections to states, I know they've played. There's a team from Adirondack area, the Schenectady, Saratoga, whatever group. And that's the number 1 team in the state. They've got 30 kids from a bunch of different schools out there, so it's really like an all-star team of the eastern half of New York. But it's a really well-coached team, a lot of really good, talented kids. And I know the Clinton team went out there and played them and beat them in their own rink. Was their first loss of the year. And I remember talking to their coach a little bit afterwards from the recruiting standpoint. So it tells you that they're pretty good. And he was like, it's the first time a team showed up and played with us, and we didn't know what to do. And then they came back out and really pounded Clinton like about a week ago out at Nexus. So it's good hockey. I mean, you think about like high school hockey it's not always the greatest hockey, right, in the world. And but the way the girls are going, and they're pooling kids from different schools. The kids are all in. They work their butts off. Rob Kopech, who's retired Utica PD, is a great guy, and he really cares about the kids, and he works hard and keeping it together. And they also play out in Nexus right now, so they've got a nice home as well. It's fun to watch. It's good to see the girls and the women game growing, and we're excited. It's exciting to watch. Listen.
Oh, it is. And it's just
for me. Always my blood pressure goes up, but it's fun.
That's a deep breath. Deep breath.
Okay, you have there. I think and my daughter started playing hockey now. Like, listen, man, parents, don't let your kids be goalies.
Yeah, it's like those that song, "Mamas don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys." Mamas don't let your kids grow up to be goalies. Don't do it.
Cowboys. I mean, Yellowstone. I watched that. I'd rather be like a rancher than a goalie right now. That's for sure.
It's great. That's great. Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to come on to talk to us. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. It's always so much fun.
Anytime. Listen, it's fun to be on here. I'm a big fan of you guys. This is an awesome podcast. Like, you guys do a great job, and the coverage of hockey in the 315 area code from you guys, from the pro level down all the way down to high school juniors, etc., is it's a blast. For me, if it wasn't for you guys, I don't know that I would always know what's going on out there. So you guys do a good job. You really do, and certainly it's an honor to be on here with you guys.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And we're going to see you at the Nexus Center this weekend. And by the way, enjoy the Super Bowl.
Oh, I will. Well, you know what? Like, this is in LA. Being a college hockey coach is great, except for when you have an away game on Super Bowl Sunday at 3:30, and then figure out how to watch the Super Bowl on your computer or your laptop on the way back. But
that's right.
We'll figure it out. I'm a YouTube TV guy, so we'll be able to watch it. It's just
there you go.
I'll be in my easy chair like I would like to be.
Well, best of luck all the way around. That's a I got to say. So, but again, like I said, awesome. Thank you so much, Coach. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
We'll see you. Thank you. Coach Dave Clausen of the Utica Pioneers women's hockey team. Always so much fun when he comes on. He's such a great guest. You know, he really is. So,
good.
All right. Well, Dave the Save, why don't we take a quick commercial break and then we'll come back with segment 2 and wrap things up.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for our weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
And we're back with segment 2 of 315 Hockey Live. You know, Dave, I was down in Colgate last Saturday to cover the Colgate Raiders women's hockey team playing Harvard. So they're up to number 4 in the nation now, by the way.
Yeah, you sent me that picture of your daughter in front of the big helmet.
In the latest polls. And, you know,
great.
I got to tell you, I bring this up because I want to thank Colgate head coach Greg Fargo and the entire Colgate staff. I brought my daughter with me to cover the game, and she got such a charge out of that. It was so cool for her, you know, because she got to go in the press box. That was awesome. And then afterwards, we went down and we interviewed Coach Fargo, and she thought that was the greatest thing in the world.
And she wants to take your place now, is what I've heard.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you're going to tutelage or give her some tutelage. So no, I'm done.
I am.
That's
I'm going to give her some camera work and everything.
Yeah. So you're going to bump me right out. So pretty soon my daughter Madison will be hosting this thing.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, I want to thank Coach Fargo and the staff because they were awesome. And speaking of the Raiders, they're playing right now. They're up 3-1 at the start of the third period against St. Lawrence. So
that's a good thing.
It is. Because I didn't know if you had a problem where you were hitting buttons or I'm like,
I'm thinking ahead. I'm working buttons, thinking, you know.
You know, you're amazing. You really are.
Try to anticipate where you're going next.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you where I'm going next.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, the Comets and the Crunch hook up again. This time at the Adirondack Bank Center. Game starts at 7:00. They're celebrating Women and Girls in Sports Day. So that's going to be, again, my daughter, she's in the kids club. They sent out an email. We're doing some really good things for the kids, you know, with the girls and the women there. It's going to be.
She going to that?
Yeah, she is. So It's been a big hockey week for her.
Yeah, she's having fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you know, last week we had Coach Valucci from Morrisville on.
It was a good show.
It was awesome, and we got some pictures here. Those jerseys that he was talking about, they're doing the auction.
Which one do you want first?
Let's do Morrisville first. There it is. Go on their socials, and you got the email address right there. If you want to bid on one of those jerseys, the auction closes on Friday. That's what's left. They're doing phenomenal out there. And you know what? I tell you, it's a great cause. It's all going to Center State Youth Hockey. So if you want one of those sharp Morrisville Mustang jerseys, go ahead and bid on them.
I just want to know if Barry sent his $250 in to get one.
I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
Yeah.
And we've got another jersey auction going on as well. The Utica Pioneers men's team. There's that one. That's a beauty too. The information to bid on that is right there in the link, uticapioneers.com. That auction closes Friday too. So that we got a couple of awesome jersey auctions going on here. So 28 is mine, hopefully. Which one, Josh? I'm assuming Utica, right? That's a yeah, those are both they're both absolutely awesome. And last but not least, we want to close it out. A few weeks ago, we had Chris Sugar from the D3 Hockey News on, and he has the Broadcaster Bracket Challenge. And Utica's own Ray Biggs is now in the third round.
Oh, good.
Yep. Biggsy's advancing. He's going through that tournament like a hot knife through butter. And the tournament voting starts back up on February 2nd. So you just got to follow D3 Hockey News on Twitter. Make sure you vote for Bigsy when you see Bigsy come up. Ray Biggs, #1 seed out of Utica. And let's get Ray that championship this year.
Barry's got a message for us. He didn't get his jersey yet.
Not yet. I'm sure he will, though.
Yeah, okay.
I got faith. Let's see what Josh did. There's it.
He's going to add to the collection.
No, above it.
Oh, above it?
Yeah.
He's doing a Mobile.
Mobile. All right. Yeah, great causes all the way around. So, all right, my friend, that's all we got for tonight.
No, we got what about, we're going to talk about Barry's thing here in Cooperstown.
Yeah, well, that's, you know what? You're right. It's 2 weeks away.
2 weeks away.
2 weeks away. You're right. Absolutely.
I think he's pulled it all together.
Exactly. I think so. I think he's got his permits together. I know the poor guy was stressing out for a little bit, and I don't blame him because you know what? It always seems like that.
Yeah.
When you put together a big event, there's always seems to be some kind of snafu, but good on Barry. He got through it all. And man, I'll tell you, if you're going to be in the Cooperstown area, February 17th or 18th, you got to check this out. This is going to be awesome. And I tell you, I was looking at some of the auction items that he's got for the 17th.
There's some good stuff.
I could go bankrupt.
It's true.
I could eventually end up bankrupt.
Yeah.
That's
but the way the community has rolled the carpet out for the players.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame down there and what they're doing and all. It's really great.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see.
He's got a hand.
George Finn will be out.
Racky from Youngblood will be out.
Oh, he'll be out to coach
to coach for the game. Yeah, Barry, you got to type better.
Yeah. It goes for all the veterans. It sure does. And that's going to be awesome. If you want to come out and see the legendary Carl Racky will be behind the bench, George Finn.
That'll be awesome.
It is. It's going to be really cool. So you're right. Thank you for reminding me of that because I didn't write it down. So
I knew you didn't.
Yep.
I'm covering you.
That's why I got you around.
Yep.
Exactly. All right. Well, once again, we want to thank Coach Dave Clausen from the Utica Pioneers. And thank you for watching and for listening. And make sure you're following us on 315hockey.com every day for updated news stories from around Central New York. And make sure you follow us on all our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and all the socials. And subscribe to this show on YouTube if you would, please. All right. So for Dave the Save Warner, I'm Scott Kinville. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week on 315 Hockey Live.